We are the most connected, yet the most exhausted generation in human history. Right now, as you watch this, you are likely carrying an invisible weight. It's not a physical burden, but a mental one. A quiet, persistent whisper in the back of your mind telling you that you need to do more, be more, achieve more, and optimize every single second of your existence. We bought into the promise of the modern world that if we just worked harder, automated our lives, and followed a strict self-improvement checklist, we would eventually unlock a state of permanent peace. But what if the opposite is true? What if the very act of constantly trying to fix your life is what's keeping you broken? In psychological terms, this is known as the hedonic treadmill, a state where the faster you run toward happiness, the faster the horizon moves away from you. Your brain isn't exhausted because you lack discipline. It's exhausted because it's running on a survival operating system designed 200,000 years ago, trapped in a digital cage that never sleeps. Today, we are not going to talk about adding more to your routine. We are not going to talk about a morning ritual that requires you to wake up at 4 a.m. or a lifestyle overhaul that feels like a second job. Instead, we are going to explore the art of strategic undoing. 4 psychological micro-shifts, backed by modern neuroscience and ancient philosophy, that take less than 10 seconds to execute, but possess the power to violently disrupt your stress loops and rewire your mind from the inside out. If you feel like you are drowning in your own thoughts, stop trying to swim harder. Just float. Let's look at how your brain actually works and how to reclaim it. To understand why you feel anxious or unfulfilled on an ordinary Tuesday, you have to realize one fundamental truth. Your brain does not care if you are happy, it only cares if you survive. Deep within your temporal lobes sits an almond-shaped cluster of nuclei called the amygdala. For thousands of generations, its job was simple: keep you from being eaten by predators. If a rustle in the bushes meant a saber-toothed tiger, the amygdala fired a cascade of cortisol and adrenaline through your bloodstream. It narrowed your vision, accelerated your heart rate, and shut down your creative brain. In 2026, there are no tigers, but to your ancient amygdala, an unread email from your boss, a drop in your social media engagement, or a looming credit card bill feels exactly the same as a lethal predator. You are living in a perpetual state of what psychologists call an amygdala hijack. Your brain is literally trapped in a tunnel vision survival mode, causing you to perceive your life as a series of problems to be solved rather than an experience to be lived. So, how do we undo this? We don't do it with positive thinking. You cannot reason with an ancient survival organ using logic. You have to speak its language, which is biological. This brings us to our first micro-shift, the 1-0-second physiological sigh. Discovered by behavioral biologists in the 1930s and heavily researched recently at Stanford University, this is a specific breathing pattern that humans and animals do automatically when they are stressed or about to fall asleep. It is the fastest, built-in mechanism to trigger your parasympathetic nervous system, your body's natural brake pedal for stress. Here is how you execute it right now. As you listen to my voice, take a deep breath through your nose, filling your lungs completely. Then, at the very top, sneak in one more sharp inhale to completely inflate the tiny air sacs in your lungs. Now, let it out through your mouth with a long, slow sigh. Let's do it together. Inhale deeply, one more quick sip of air. Now, let it go. What did that take? 7 seconds. Neuroscientifically, that second pop of air reinflates the alveoli in your lungs, allowing them to efficiently dump carbon dioxide from your bloodstream. The moment that happens, a neural signal travels from your diaphragm directly to your brainstem, stating, "The danger has passed." Your heart rate slows. Your blood vessels dilate. The red alert in your amygdala turns off. The minimalist master of your life doesn't avoid stress. They know how to exit it strategically. You don't need a 30-minute meditation session to find peace. You just need the awareness to execute one physiological sigh when the world feels like it's closing in on you. It is a micro-habit of absolute biological control. Most of our suffering comes from a structural error in our attention. We pour our emotional energy into things we cannot influence. Expecting a different outcome? We obsess over what people think of us, how the economy is changing, or why certain things in our past happened the way they did. 2,000 years ago, a former slave living in Rome named Epictetus founded a school of thought that would change the course of psychology. He wrote a simple sentence that serves as the foundation of Stoicism: some things are in our control and others not. He called this the dichotomy of control. Modern behavioral psychology calls this cognitive reframing, but the essence remains identical. When you feel overwhelmed, your brain is treating an unmanageable external world as if it were an internal responsibility. You are trying to micromanage the universe, and it is breaking you. To practice the art of strategic undoing here, we utilize a 5-second mental filter called the sovereignty check. Whenever a situation causes your chest to tighten, you must instantly ask yourself one cold, analytical question: does this belong to my realm of execution or the world's? If you are stuck in a massive traffic jam and running late for an important meeting, your default evolutionary response is anger. Your blood boils, your hands grip the steering wheel, and your brain loops through scenarios of failure. But let's apply this sovereignty check. Can your anger change the position of the 500 cars in front of you? No. The traffic belongs to the world. What belongs to you? Your reaction to it. Your ability to put on a podcast, take a physiological sigh, or accept the delay with dignity. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius summarized this beautifully in his private journals. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. When you actively categorize your reality into these two columns, something miraculous happens to your psychology. You stop wasting your limited daily energy on ghost battles. You strip away the unnecessary layers of anxiety. If it is outside your control, it is not your burden to carry. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to worry about it. And you don't have to apologize for it. By letting go of what you cannot govern, you become the absolute sovereign over what you can. Your current moment, your current choice, and your internal peace. This is minimalism not of the home, but of the soul. Look at how your life is physically arranged. Your laptop screen is roughly 15 inches. Your smartphone screen is less than 7 inches. Day in and day out. Your eyes are locked onto tiny, illuminated rectangles. What you might not know is that your visual field and your nervous system are hardwired together. When your eyes focus intently on a small, close-up object like a screen, a document, or a workspace, your brain automatically enters a state of high focal alertness. This physiological mechanism narrows your attention to optimize your performance. However, if this state is maintained for hours without interruption, your brain interprets this prolonged tunnel vision as a sign of an ongoing threat. Your body enters a low-grade, chronic fight or flight response without your conscious permission. You are literally staring yourself into a state of anxiety. The solution is an elegant neurological hack that takes exactly 5 seconds. It is called panoramic vision or the intentional glance. Right now, wherever you are sitting or standing, look away from this screen. Find the furthest object available to you. It could be a building outside your window, a tree in the distance, or the point where the ceiling meets the far wall of your room. Look at it for 5 seconds. Don't just look at it, let your eyes relax so that you can see your entire periphery. See the spaces to your left and right without moving your head. By widening your gaze into panoramic vision, you are performing a mechanical override on your brain's stress center. Neurobiologists have proven that expanding your visual field instantly inhibits the firing of neurons in the brainstem that produce norepinephrine, the chemical responsible for alertness and stress. It is an immediate, biological signal to your body that you are safe. If you were being hunted by an apex predator, you wouldn't be casually scanning the horizon or appreciating the periphery. You would be staring directly at the threat. Therefore, when you choose to look wide, your brain concludes that there is no threat. This is why we feel an innate sense of profound peace when we stand on top of a mountain, look out over the ocean, or watch the clouds move across an empty sky. It isn't just poetry. It's neurology. Your brain is finally being allowed to drop its guard. You don't need a vacation to the Swiss Alps to reset your nervous system. You just need to break your digital tunnel vision 50 times a day with a 5-second intentional glance. Look up. Look wide. Remind your ancient brain that the world is vast, and you are completely safe within it. When you are having a difficult day, the worst thing you can do is tell yourself to just be positive. When you suppress an emotion, when you wrap anxiety in a forced smile or cover anger with toxic positivity, the emotion doesn't disappear. It merely goes underground, expressing itself as physical tension, chronic fatigue, or sudden outbursts of irritation over trivial things. At UCLA, a neuroscientist named Dr. Matthew Lieberman conducted a groundbreaking study on emotional regulation. He discovered that when people are experiencing an intense, overwhelming emotion, their amygdala is hyperactive, lighting up like a wildfire on a brain scan. However, when those same individuals simply named the emotion in a single word, saying, "I am angry," "I feel insecure," or "I am overwhelmed," the activity in the emotional centers of the brain dropped drastically, while the prefrontal cortex, the seat of logic and emotional control, lit up. Psychologists call this technique affect labeling, or, more simply, name it to tame it. When you label an emotion, you shift from being the emotion to observing the emotion. There is a massive psychological chasm between saying "I am anxious" and saying "I am currently experiencing a sensation of anxiety." The first statement defines your identity. The second statement describes a passing weather pattern in your mind. The micro-habit is this. The moment you feel a wave of psychological heaviness, do not fight it. Do not try to solve it. Do not pick up your phone to distract yourself from it. Instead, take a breath, sit with it for 3 seconds, and label it objectively, as if you were a scientist observing a phenomenon in a lab. Say it in your mind or out loud. This is burnout. This is jealousy. This is fear of failure. By doing this, you are practicing ultimate emotional minimalism. You are stripping away the narrative. You see, the emotion itself isn't what ruins your day. It's the endless story your mind builds around the emotion. The "why am I like this?" and the "what if things never get better?" Name the raw emotion and drop the story. Acknowledge it. Let it exist, and let it pass. You are not your thoughts. You are the vast, unshakable space in which those thoughts happen. The ultimate goal of a minimalist life isn't to live in an empty room with white walls. It is to live with an unburdened mind. You do not need to fix everything today. You do not need to achieve perfection by tomorrow. Happiness is not a destination you reach after you accumulate enough wealth or complete your self-improvement goals. It is found in the strategic spaces you create between your thoughts. It is found in the 10-second resets, the panoramic glances, the courage to name your pain, and the wisdom to know what you cannot control. Friedrich Nietzsche spoke of a concept called amor fati, the love of one's fate. To not wish for anything to be different, not in the past, not in the future, not for all eternity. To accept this exact moment, with all its flaws, pressures, and beauty, as your definitive reality. Tomorrow, when the noise of the world returns, and it will remember that you possess these tools. You don't have to change your life to change your mind. You just need to undo the clutter, one micro-habit at a time. If this resonated with your journey, consider subscribing to this space. We don't offer loud noise or quick fixes here, just quiet psychology for a noisy world. Leave a comment below with the single word that describes how you feel right now. Let's name it together. Take care of yourself. Breathe deep. And look wide. I'll see you in the next story.